Good evening. Well, tonight I want to introduce you to the woman of the future. She's fit, she's powerful, she's muscular, and she's into bodybuilding, and she looks rather like this. Now, these women are challenging all the old perceptions of what a female body should be like. And let me tell you, they're not part of some fringe group. Women have taken to bodybuilding with a vengeance. In the United States, where it all started, pumping iron is now the most popular recreational pastime after jogging. And wait for it, 60% of the people joining up are women, 60%. And it's the same thing in Australia. All over the country, thousands of women have gone to work on their bodies, but at tremendous personal cost in some cases. I mean, just wait till you hear what some of these women go through. I mean, to look their best, they put themselves on the most extraordinary diets. They work out for up to 6 hours a day, and they take a whole range of additives and supplements to enhance their muscle tissue. Now, why on earth do they do it? And what are they putting themselves through? Most importantly, what are they doing to their health? Well, Lee Camilleri, just tell me why you're doing it, because am I allowed to ask your age, first of all?
I'm almost 43. My son encouraged me, and more so lately because he won the Mr. Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, and that has really inspired me to compete again. I love it. My daughter bodybuilds, my son, I do. It is addictive. I can't do without it.
It's fantastic.
It's tremendous.
So you started when you were over 40?
I started 2 years ago, yes.
And how much training do you do
I
each day?
train 4 times a week, about 2 hours per session.
Now, Donna, you're interesting because you told me that you took up bodybuilding because you were overweight. Yes, I can't believe you ever had a weight problem.
I did.
Or did you just think you had a weight problem?
No, I was quite overweight when I started, and that was the main reason for starting in the first place. I've got a really good sense of well-being now about myself. Overweight, you sort of get I had a complex about my weight. I was really...
You just felt bad about yourself?
Yeah, I just didn't feel good about myself. You put clothes on, they didn't fit. You couldn't wear what you wanted to wear. Now I feel good about myself, healthy, fit.
And how many hours a day do you work out?
3 times a week, only for about an hour each time.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
it.
Well, that sounds relatively simple compared to what some... Robin, do you mind coming forward? And do you mind... Robin lies about her age, I'm sure she does. I don't believe it. How old are you, Robin?
42.
How old do you claim to be?
42.
Robin claims to be 42. Do you believe that? Why, you do it recreationally. You're not at all interested in competition.
No. I really cross-train. I cycle and I do aerobics and I get into the gym and I just love the lot.
And how many hours a day does that take up to stay looking like that at 42?
About an hour or an hour and a half a day.
Well, Kerry, you're very much into competition now, aren't you?
Well, I used to be, Peter. I have stopped now, actually, with bodybuilding. I might do figure competition, but I'm not actually going to do bodybuilding in itself anymore, only because I don't want to put on the size that you have to compete in bodybuilding competitions.
But you've had a couple of kids, haven't you?
I have. I've got 2 children, 7 and 5 now, so that's how I got into bodybuilding, was because of having children, to tie up here and here and
well, you
so
certainly
forth,
did,
which I have done that.
How about that for a mother of 2?
Yeah, so it's terrific. So I recommend it to anybody, any mothers or ladies out there. It's just fantastic. It's the best thing you could ever do.
And so you did it specifically to tone up after the birth of your second child?
Yeah, that's how I started. I got addicted to it like I think most women do. I mean, you feel the well-being, the feeling that you get and how healthy you feel is fantastic. And really, you only have to put in an effort. I mean, if most ladies put in an hour 4 days a week, they're going to get fantastic results from that. You don't have to go out there and slog it 6 hours, sort of 6 hours a day, just to get nice shape and femininity.
Well, I was interested in what Donna said, because Donna said it's enhanced her self-confidence.
That's right.
Is that the case with all of you? It just makes you feel better about yourself?
It makes you feel fit and healthy, and it certainly, yeah.
So you feel strong psychologically as well as physically.
It helps your mind as much as what it does for your body as well, and that's.
Let's go over to Lynn Mackey here. Lynn, just show us one of your poses, because Lynn is about to compete in the heavyweight championships. Lynn is only 21 years old, so technically she's still a junior. But at age 21, to be competing in heavyweight championships is quite something. How long have you been in training, Lynn? I mean, when did you start bodybuilding?
I started bodybuilding at the age of 16.
a long, long time ago. I'm now 21, so that's 5 years
So
of
you
training.
had 5 years at it.
Yes, that's right.
And what kind of, I mean, to what extent has it changed your body in 5 years?
It's actually changed me quite a lot. I was quite slim, very, very skinny, at about 55 kilos. I'm now weighing 75 kilos, so there's about a 20 kilo difference in weight. I competed around 65 kilos, so I am a little bit overweight at the moment for if I was to go into a competition.
Can you believe this? Now, see, this is what I find extraordinary. There's Lynn standing there telling me she is overweight. But this fascinates me, actually, because to be in top form for the competition in 9 weeks' time or so, you reckon you want to lose how much?
I need to lose around about 8 kilos, 8 to 9 kilos, which I should do comfortably. I'd say only 8 kilos.
Comfortably? I mean, how do you lose 8 kilos comfortably? I mean, is it diet? Is it some of these things you take, or is it just more training? What?
It's training, it increases your metabolism, it's your diet. There's nothing major, no major changes in your diet. You just need to cut out your fats, eat healthy, fruit and vegetables, lean meats, chicken, tuna, that sort of thing. As far as supplements go, I take the Victory range, which is down there, and that's
We'll
just
talk
to...
about those later, 'cause I'm interested in all that.
It's just to increase my metabolism, replenish my body, because I'm training so hard, I'm breaking down muscle tissue. So I need to replenish with amino acids and certain supplements to sort of build myself back up again.
Okay, so, but basically you'll lose it with diet.
Lose it with diet and training, that's right.
See, the other thing that interests me, and I want to go across here now to, well, perhaps to Alyson Eyre, because Alyson also takes part in competitions. She does a lot of modelling. In fact, if you have a look at this, you'll see some of the model shots that Alyson does, and I suppose Alyson would come pretty close to the perfect 10 if you're going to make judgments like that. But the thing that really interested me, that Alyson and a number of the other women here were not prepared to have their bodies shown because they weren't in top shape. Now, see, I find this extraordinary. Here you are with absolutely, probably perfect bodies, and you don't want anyone to see them because you're not in top form. What is this?
I think we've become perfectionists. When I started, I was very, very, very overweight. Now that I am at the top of the sport, I want to be perfect, so it's a little bit hard to sort of say, well, you know, I may be imperfect right now. I need to lose maybe a pound. Therefore, all of a sudden, you're imperfect. I mean, you put your ideals possibly too high. Sometimes you've got to sort of look at yourself and say, you're okay.
So it sort of becomes an obsession.
Well, I mean, anything you want to do well has to be an obsession. Any sport, any job you do, anything you do in your life has to be an obsession to be good at it. And being an obsession makes you try harder, I guess.
Well, some of you others might like to come in here because I know a number of you talk about you started and then you became addicted. What is this? Can you explain it? Is it an addiction?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Once you stop training, you feel, excuse the term, you feel fat, you feel out of shape, you feel lazy, sluggish, you don't feel so energetic. You get back into the gym and it just gets the adrenaline going. You feel tremendous, you feel alive, and you feel great.
Can any of you others explain this addiction thing? Well, here first, perhaps.
I think the main reason is that the majority of us got involved in the sport because we had something wrong with our bodies. We were either overweight, underweight, loose and flabby, had babies, had an unhealthy lifestyle, lack of confidence. And because when we get into the gym, we feel so good and what it's doing to us, we can see that our bodies are starting to respond. So therefore, just in your everyday life, your confidence comes up, you start to see this shape coming, and you don't get that from any other sport. So as you're basically like sculpting away at your body and seeing what's happening, it's like, hey, this is fantastic, I'll keep up and I'll do a bit more. And then you start to take an interest in what you're putting in your mouth because all this hard work in the gym. So you start watching that and you start getting involved in taking supplements, and then if your diet's been bad in the past, that gives you a really good feeling of well-being. So I think that's the reason of the addiction, is that you feel so good.
Penny Goward, you've been doing some interesting work, haven't you? Because Penny's a consultant and she does a lot of work with women. But I was really interested in the work you've been doing in which you've drawn comparisons between women who are suffering from anorexia and women who get completely carried away in the other direction with bodybuilding. Would you like to explain that?
Oh, well, it seems to me, if you look at women throughout history, we've always been valued as being objects of beauty. So it seems to me our self-esteem we're steeped
tied up in how
we look. And so transfer that into today's age when women are not valued. we're seen as second class and all that sort of thing, so we're disempowered. So where can we get our control? Where can we get our perfection? It's in our bodies. And I see this showing up in women who try too hard to be thin, as in anorexia, or even in bulimia. And you can get bulimia as in using food or exercise. And it can also show up in bodybuilding. And then to take that further, I think you have to think about the fact that we're living in a society that is discriminating against fat people, and it's been normalised now. That it's okay to make comments about what people look like, what they eat, what they don't eat. And I think that's another driving force that gets people doing things to an extreme. If there was no fat discrimination, people would be allowed to be any size, including being a bodybuilder. You know, there wouldn't be something abnormal about that. You wouldn't be abnormal if you were fat either. There'd be a whole range of body sizes that were okay.
But of course, women like this are going to put tremendous pressure on the other women who don't look like this. So I wanted to hear about the sort of studies that you've done, Professor Lara, because you've looked at this directly, haven't you? Looked to see if there's a link between the sort of anorexia-type syndrome and the addiction that takes over people in bodybuilding.
Indeed. What we did was to look at male bodybuilders and then interviewed them and asked them questions about whether they thought that they were big or not. And some of them were, in fact, national champions. And they would look at themselves and say, no, I'm not big, I feel small. And when I feel small tonight, they would say, and of course they'd be twice the size I am, saying this. And that came as quite a surprise.
These hugely built bodybuilders would look at themselves and think that they weren't very big at all.
Yes.
And so they want to get bigger.
Well, see, it's like anorexia. An anorexic woman looks at herself and says, I'm still fat.
Exactly.
So it's exactly the same thing. So I guess it is an obsession in that way. Hopefully, bodybuilding is and it is, so I shouldn't say hopefully, it is a far more healthy obsession than most.
Well,
drugs, alcohol.
Yeah, right. What body image are you aiming for? See, we've been talking here, I mean, I've been talking about powerful, muscular, fit. I mean, what do you regard as the perfect body, the perfect shape? What are you aiming for? What body image are we talking about?
Everyone's picture, really, aren't they? Quite possible, I think, the perfect body image would be an improvement upon your own body image. Okay, so it's not really maybe as much as an ideal as in comparison to everybody else, but trying to improve your own within your own limitations. It's like a self-fulfillment. If you can achieve what you want to achieve, you're self-fulfilled, you feel good, and that's perfect. Perfect performance, whether it be achieving the best body image.
But it's drawing the line and knowing when you're slipping into an extreme that seems to be the difficulty. See, I was interested, Lee Camilleri, you told me that you like to train with a man.
Yes, I do.
Because you like to be pushed. You like to push yourselves to the male standards.
maximum,
now,
yes.
are you all aiming for the sort of masculine ideas, the masculine ideas of muscular strength? You're not?
Number one, before we're athletes or bodybuilders, well, this is me, I'm a woman first. Number one, everything else comes second, third.